Hello, beautiful creatures. Welcome back to Of Crafts and Curios. Can you believe that we made it to the end of another year? It was a pretty chaotic year, that's for sure, especially here in Auckland, being locked down for like 4 months of the year. But it was also my first year on YouTube, which has been such a blessing and has been so amazing. And yeah, so it's been a mixed bag. But I thought it would be so fun to wrap the year up by doing a little review and recap of the dolls I made this year, just as a fun way to say goodbye to 2021. So off screen, I've gathered all of the dolls that I've made this year, and it's time to take a look back at them all, including some you haven't seen here on the channel. So of course, we have to start where it all started, the Wheel of the Year dolls. This is the first doll I made for my YouTube channel here on Of Crafts and Curios, and it was kind of the brainchild for wanting to start a channel. I really wanted to do something with my spirituality and my love of arts and crafts, and I thought, what more fun than making altar dolls this year and bringing you guys along with me. I love so much about this doll, especially this little corn husk doll. I love her outfit and her hair color and how she really encapsulates corn energy, not the band, but the food. Like Lunasa is often celebrated alongside the corn harvest, and I just think she really encapsulates that. And I really like having a sort of time capsule for where I've come from this year in the sense of my skill with doll craft. I only started doll customizing in the middle of 2020 during the first lockdown, and it's just so fun to be able to see how much progression has occurred. She also wears one of my favorite dresses from the Wheel of the Year series. It's just really simple and cute, but I think it really is just one of the most beautiful outfits. So yeah, there is some things that I would like to change about this doll. It was the first time I'd done a circle with a wefted hair, and you know, some of the wefts are visible, but I really like her outfit, and I have toyed with the idea of going back and repainting her face just to match my current style and skill, but the reality is I love this doll more than any other doll I've made, and she gets a 5 out of 5 from me. Next up in the Wheel of the Year series is, of course, Mabon. This doll is so fun and cute and just has such childlike whimsy to it. I love this doll so much. I love her crazy carrot orange hair, and I love her tiny apples that she's carrying. This doll is really something special, to me at least, because before I made her, I went and picked apples with my mom to celebrate Mabon at a local orchard, and it's just, yeah, it just encapsulates, I don't know, that mother-child energy that is kind of said to be lost during Mabon. A mother loses her child, the story of Persephone and Demeter, so on and so forth. So I just really like this doll, and I do wish that I had done some things different on her face up. For example, I left her with no pupil because I liked the sunburst of her iris, but I wish I had gone back and added that. But yeah, these tiny apples are kind of just the best thing ever, and I'm obsessed with them so much. These shoes are also a favorite of mine from the whole series. I think the little brown kind of loafer style just is so cute, and I really enjoyed painting them, and so for me this one gets a 4 out of 5. Coming in third in the wheel is, of course, Sarwin. This is some of your guys' favorite of the series, and I can definitely see why. She is definitely a magical doll. She has such a serene facial expression, and who doesn't love Sarwin and its connotations and relationship to Halloween? So I definitely love this doll. It was the first time that I tried to kind of shrink the eye shape on a Spectra face mold, and I'm really happy that I swapped the original Skeleta head for a Spectra head, as I think she is so beautiful. And there's just so much to love about this doll. I just love its really simple but extravagant black gown, and I think it really encapsulates the Sarwin energy that I wanted to show off. So this is definitely one of my favorites from this series, but I could never go past the Lunasa doll. The first in the series and the first for the channel is probably my favorite from this group of dolls. I do wish I had taken extra time with the organza to double sew all of the seams, just as there is some pilling and some fraying, so I wish I could have known that in before, but therefore this doll gets a 4 out of 5 for me. Up next is Yule, and this doll is definitely something different for the Wheel of the Year series. It's the first time I tried to do something more fantasy driven and inspired by another artist's kind of concept, and I really love how her antlers turned out, and I think the white elk kind of energy that is often associated to Yule is really beautiful, and so I do really love this doll. Some feedback that some people gave was that they didn't like how much blush she had on her face, but I think getting rosy red cheeks from the snow is pretty common, so I don't know, each to their own. But if I was going to do this doll again, I think I would just be mindful of maybe doing a more obvious symbol like the Yule log and really adding some volume to her skirt to match her coat. And now that we have arrived at in bulk, we begin the next 3 dolls that I produced during lockdown here in Auckland this year. And yeah, these dolls were a bit of a grind just because it was hard to feel really motivated, because I wasn't going to be spending the Sabbaths with my friends or anything. I was going to be spending them locked up in my house. So these dolls definitely are a little less magical to me, at least, but I love this doll because it's the first doll I ever did a pregnant belly on. This kind of body modification doesn't seem to be super popular, surprisingly enough, and I think it's really cute. I just wish I had done a dress that showed it off a little better, just because it is so cute and it really does embody the in the belly energy that in bulk has. But I love the fabric I decided to use with that big sun strike through the trees. So this doll is definitely a midway point for me, in the sense that she's not my favorite, but I definitely don't not like her, if that makes sense. So with all of that in mind, I think that this doll gets a 3 out of 5 from me. As for my Otara doll, this doll wears one of my favorite outfits as well from the Wheel of the Year series. I think she is so cute, and she is the only doll from the Wheel of the Year series that has a full reroot. The other dolls are all pre-wefted here, so that does make her a little bit different, just because I had all that time during lockdown that I could actually focus on doing some reroots. I love her little muddy feet like she's been in the fields. And overall, I really like the concept of this doll and the energy. I'm just not sold completely on the Ever After High doll head that I chose to use. That's on me. I should have thought more hard about which face shape I wanted to take from the Ever After High doll range. They just have such big round heads. So that's probably the only thing I would change about this doll. And maybe I would have given her one large egg to symbolize Otara rather than a basket full of little eggs. I don't know. But yeah, this doll, along with the in bulk doll, isn't my favorite, but I definitely don't not like her. I think she's a solid 3 out of 5 for me as well. Now, Miss Beltane, on the other hand, is one of my favorite dolls from the Wheel of the Year series and ever. I think she is so pretty. I like her as a standalone doll, and I like her as an altar doll with a concept inspired by the Sabbats. I think she is so pretty. I love all of the little elements, like her flower/ribbon crown to embody the maypole, her sultry look to encapsulate the flirty energy of the time of year, and I just think she is so cute. So I really like everything about this doll. And yeah, I mean, obviously no piece of art is ever fully finished or fully perfect, but she's pretty close. I really do like her a lot. So yeah, I think no surprises that this doll gets a 5 out of 5 from me. And of course, our final and most recent addition to the Wheel of the Year series, completing the wheel for this year, is of course Litha, and this doll is so beautiful. She gave me a little runaround in the sense that I was not prepared for the sculpted eyelids that were on the face mold, but I'm really happy with how she turned out. I think she is so beautiful and summery, and yeah, I love her dress and the tiny butterflies, and I'm just really happy with this doll all around. So if you haven't seen any of these videos pertaining to the Wheel of the Year series, I have gone ahead and linked all of them in cards above the respective dolls, and I think you should definitely check them out as we enter the new year. Overall, the Wheel of the Year series on my channel was the reason I started my YouTube journey, and it has been my favorite and most enjoyable part of being on YouTube, creating altar dolls to show you guys and to practice my spirituality with. So I have a special place in my heart for all of these dolls and this series. The other series I brought to you guys this year is my Halloween dolls, and it's no question these dolls are some of my favorite dolls I've ever made prior to YouTube, during YouTube, all over my time making dolls. I am obsessed with these dolls, so they get a 10 out of 5 from me. The funny thing about these dolls is when I began creating them, I'd actually started the project with the intention to sell 2 of these dolls and to only keep one for myself, but by the end of the project I couldn't part with any of them because I think I just love them so much as a 3, and they're actually stored away for Halloween decor for my house, and so I absolutely love them and adore them. But that doesn't mean I don't want to create dolls to sell, and that is something I will be looking into this year. If that's something you guys would be excited about and interested in, I would love for you guys to take home a piece of the magic that I make with these dolls. So yeah, let me know. And now moving on to the dolls that are individual concepts and not related to series. I know this is a lot of dolls. I've made a lot of dolls this year, starting this project off, this section off with my mini-me doll project. This was so much fun and a little daunting. It's a little daunting to miniaturize yourself, I guess, and eternalize yourself in doll form, but it was so fun and I really enjoyed making this little Afghan coat. It is so beautiful and a staple of my own wardrobe, so I really enjoyed making it for my doll mini-me, and I have some video ideas that include my mini-me, hopefully that I can get into creating earlier this coming year, so you'll see more of my mini-me hopefully. 5 out of 5 for me. Now my Bleeding Edge remake doll, because I cannot afford the eBay surge pricing of goth dolls, and because I love the goth aesthetic and I just really wanted a Bleeding Edge doll, I went ahead and made myself one inspired by Storm, the character from Bleeding Edge, and I love this doll. You guys loved this doll. I released the video literally just after getting a shout out from Italan, and it changed my YouTube life. It was incredible, and you guys seem to really like my pierced dolls. So I was really happy to bring you guys along for the journey of making this doll. Maybe one day, maybe this year, I'll get a bleeding edge doll. 4 out of 5 from me. And now my classic tutorial doll that you have seen a lot of this year. She has stood in for me time and time again when doing more in-depth tutorials. So her face is a little busted from getting pierced and then unpierced and then pierced again. So she's been through the wars, this doll, but I really love this doll. I love her extravagant dress. It's so puffy and fluffy and full of lace, and I love her cottagecore Lolita aesthetic. She was the first doll that I made a hat for, so this doll is awesome. She has roughhoused with me through the creative process, and you will definitely be seeing more of her, but in this kind of stage, all busted, she's a 3 out of 5 at this time, but a 5 out of 5 for being a good sport. Now, to make a brave yet controversial claim, this is my favorite doll that I made in 2021. I am obsessed with this little mushroom princess. She is just so sweet and whimsical, and I love her face up. It was the first ever after high face up that I think I did that wasn't just trying to figure out how to do a face up on an ever after high doll. It was the first one with a really full concept, and I think she is so gorgeous. I am obsessed with the little toadstool mushroom, and I think the image came to life in this doll. So this doll is a solid 10 out of 5 for me. I just absolutely love her and all her little details. She is also the first video that I did an in-depth polymer clay tutorial within, showing you guys how I made tiny mushrooms. So yeah, I love this doll with my whole heart. I just want to look at her all day, every day. Now, casting our minds all the way back to February of 2021, this doll came to life during what we thought would be the first and only lockdown of 2021, but we were wrong. This doll came to life in February as some storms came through and we went into lockdown for some cases being in Auckland, and I wanted to do something fun and fantasy driven for my channel. It's one of the first dolls I ever made for the channel, maybe my second or even third doll, but I absolutely love this doll. A lot went wrong in the making process, but it was fun to try out new things, and I would definitely do things different now, but I learned a lot from this doll, so 3 out of 5. We don't even need to talk about my scarecrow doll. I pulled her out of the garden and that's why she's at this awkward angle, but I absolutely love this doll. She's a really recent creation and she gets a solid 10 out of 5 for concept and execution, and I just love this little goth scarecrow so much. So yeah, no surprises there. 10 out of 5 from me. Oh my gosh, another throwback, the stuffed bunny Valentine's Day doll. I remember creating this doll really early on in my YouTube journey, and I love her to bits. I think she's so cute and different and whimsical. I wish now that I could go back and do a better body for the plush, but I do love this concept, so 3 out of 5. And now onto my wandering whimsical forest friend that I did for a collab with a bunch of fellow incredible artists over on Instagram. This doll was so fun to create. I absolutely adored the process, and it was the first time I have ever made a tiny house. It is of course not like to a certain scale or anything. I just totally free-handed and went with my gut and created this tiny little wandering house doll, and I absolutely love her. I think she is so cute. There are some things I would definitely change about her. I think I could have put a little more love into her face up. I'm still just not as confident with Ever After High dolls like I am Monster High dolls, but she wears one of my favorite outfits and was my first time using the Moth and Myth little butterflies, so a 4 out of 5 from me. And my final of this little section is my Earth Element Fairy that I made back in April, maybe? I'm not sure. But this was the first time that I used kind of landscaping, flocking and stuff for creating moss, and you guys loved her and you loved this concept, and it really spawned this kind of love for mystical forest dwelling friends. So I love this doll quite a lot. A lot has changed this doll due to time and sunlight. The glue that was once clear has now turned murky, so because of that she gets a 3 out of 5 from me. And now moving on to a section of dolls for which you haven't seen here on YouTube. I do sometimes create dolls that I don't video record, just because I like to practice certain techniques, or I like to do something in the evening when I don't have the appropriate light set up to film, and dolls slip through the cracks. So this gorgeous doll is one of my favorite Ever After High dolls ever. I think she is so sweet, and she has such a beautiful like turn of the century, 20th century energy, like perhaps an Edwardian energy, and I just think she is so beautiful and I love her. I wish I had taken a little more care on her dress though, but for her beauty she gets 5 out of 5 from me. Another doll that I created to practice a technique, this doll was to just try out some curling methods on, what's the right word, rooted hair. Something I love about this doll that is unique to this doll, I think, is her thin eyebrows. A lot of my dolls have really, really bushy eyebrows. It's kind of just, I don't know, what I think is cute. So this doll has something unique to her, being those thinner eyebrows. And she isn't completed, so she does get 3 out of 5 from me, but she is really beautiful and I thought I'd show her to you guys anyway. Now this doll, my little moon mystic, my first complete reroot doll that I did using here from Custom Doll Here AU over on Etsy. She is so gorgeous, and I did actually film the entire process of making this doll. I just never got around to posting it, and I'm not sure why. If you guys do want to see her, let me know and I will go ahead and post that. She is really gorgeous, so I'm not sure why I got trigger shy on posting her video, but who knows, maybe she'll be one of the first dolls that I sell in 2022. And because I love her so much, she gets a 4 out of 5 from me. No bias about how much I love this picture face mold. I just think this doll is gorgeous. And now a little run through of dolls that I have given away this year. Of course, a classic here on the channel, a fan favorite, the Josie doll, or the goth aesthetic doll. She is at home with one of my good friends who she is inspired by, and she gets a solid 10 out of 5 from me, as you guys really loved her and I love her too. This is my doll that I sent for a swap with Creepy Kitty Creations, 5 out of 5 from me. She is so beautiful, I love her. And then the beautiful Forest Fawn doll that is also at home with a friend of one of mine, and yeah, she is delightful. A total babe, a total incredible gorgeous doll that I absolutely love and I miss very much, that is not in my collection, but 5 out of 5 from me. My Poppet doll, which was a really fun video to make for you guys, that is now at home with the owner that it inspired. Well, that was the owner that I was inspired by. 5 out of 5 from me for this gorgeous. And then of course my Christmas doll, I didn't give away It's just packed up with all the Christmas decorations, so I can't find her, so I'm using archival footage. And I also cannot find my craft doll. I don't know where she's gone, but 4 out of 5 from me. Can you believe I made this many dolls this year? I haven't counted how many that is. If you did, let me know down below. I hope you guys have a beautiful and incredible new year for 2022, and I hope if you are celebrating, you have a wonderful time tonight and you stay safe. And I'm gonna see you guys back in the new year with so many more crafts and so many more curios. See you guys.